Charged with murder along with Amanda Knox, convicted in the global court of public opinion. Jailed for 4 years awaiting trial, convicted in a court of law for murder they didn't commit. Sentenced to 26 years in prison after that faulty conviction, all while maintaining his honor and integrity. The journey to hell and back of Raffaele Sollecito today on Forensic Talk with Jim Campbell. Raffaele was born in southern Italy, was a computer science student at the University of Perugia when he and Amanda Knox were accused of a brutal murder of Amanda's roommate, British student Meredith Kircher, in 2007. After 4 years of trials and appeals in 2011, Raffaele and Amanda were cleared of murder charges and released. He's now CEO of his own company, Memories IT. Raffaele's co-author is Andrew Gumbo, who spent 6 years in Italy as a correspondent for Reuters. And the book is Honor Bound, My Journey to Hell and Back with Amanda Knox. Thanks for joining us from Italy, Raffaele. How are you today?
Hi, I'm pretty okay. Today is a nice day here in Italy.
Kind of cold here in Connecticut. The first stuff I want to get out, one of the most stunning facts to me, you and Amanda were each in prison for 1,427 days. Tell people exactly how many days you'd been dating before the murder.
We have been dating for 5 days, actually.
That's unbelievable.
Just 5 days.
Everybody saw you guys together on TV so much, I think they assumed 5 days, for which you ended up...
Yeah, they repeated only the same pictures over and over again.
The same pictures, yeah. And the other thing that kind of surprised me is we heard this Foxy Noxy all these years for, sexual connotations. It turns out that was her nickname from playing soccer at like age 7.
Yeah, but she is really a normal girl, kind of a middle class middle class girl from United States. Any girl at 20 years old had much more relationships than her. So it was kind of a media friend, pretty ridiculous if you compare what is real to what they have told during that years.
Now, the other thing, Raffaele, this is 5 days and you end up in prison for 4 years. At any time, you could have said something that would have put her in prison for life and gotten you out. Where did this sense of honor come from?
It comes from my inner personality. So I'm a person who is very sensitive and attached on being... be proud of yourself. If you can live with yourself, you can have an happy life, I think. So I don't want to blame myself for anything, and that would have been really hideous and cruel to anybody, not just her.
Let me ask you, how much did it bother you that you sort of became the other person in this Amanda Knox case? Did that bother you at all?
Yeah, sometimes, because the media were very intrusive in my life, and they were kind of using me for getting more attention, and they used my image. They turned and completely turned upside down my image, the person who I am. They described me as a person who doesn't exist. Actually, I'm a completely different person and guy from what they said for years. So it was really bothering and annoying, especially for the image they got to the people about me. And that follows me as well since today, and actually made a lot of it turned to be a problem in my daily life. This kind of image that comes before me to people who don't know me actually.
Mm-hmm. What was it like to go from being an anonymous student to a worldwide focus of hatred?
Well, it was crazy. Actually, at first I thought it was a nightmare, and I would have been out of it really soon. But it wasn't actually. It turned to be a very long time, and I spent years in prison, in solitary confinement. than in the maximum security prison. So it was really, really hard and tragic in all the senses. Actually, when they acquitted me for the first time and I got out from jail, the first thing I thought was that the world outside wasn't the same I left behind. So I had to face another life, another world. It scared me, and I got into depression for a long while.
Interesting. I was wondering about that. Yeah, the world was so different. Amanda didn't even know had never seen an iPhone when she got out of prison. Another thing that struck me as absurd is, first off, you go to jail as a gentle guy. I got an impression you're kind of a mama's boy. Your mom, when she was alive, would call you like on the hour to remind you to drink water, which is like our producer here, whose mother calls him all the time. And
she was doing that. She was doing that, yes.
and then put that with Amanda, who, this is, I had a kid go abroad, 2 kids go abroad for school, and how anybody could think within 3 weeks of going abroad my kid is going to become a brutal killer made no sense to me.
No, it's completely nonsense. They have to. The problem in this case is that the proudness, the kind of sense of attachment to their ideas of the persecution, the kind of they behaved really idiotically, in a very incredible way. They didn't base their investigation on clues or
did Raffaele? Did you?
They just followed their thoughts, and they wanted their thoughts to be real. It was really crazy.
Did you know Meredith Kircher at all?
No, actually not. We just met for we just see each other 2 times when I was dating Amanda in her house, but we never exchanged it so much as a dialogue. Like we say just hello, bye, have a good day. That's all.
Okay, we're now going to go inside number 7 Via della Pergola, which was the house where Amanda and her roommates, the girls upstairs and the boys downstairs. Can you take us through what actually happened in the murder, which looked like a simple break-in gone bad versus what was ending up, what the world was told? But take us through what happened.
Actually, I wasn't there, but
right. Yeah.
During the investigation, my counselors, all the professionals that just advised me along the way, they cleared me that most probable Gede, that is taken by the camera that is inside the car park, the big car park in front of Via della Pergola. It was taken by a camera at 8:30 p.m. and it was getting inside the house when Meredith wasn't there. So the thing is that he came across the window and he broke the window with a stone and he got in before Meredith came back to her house. So when it was inside the bathroom, making, as he said many times, making Meredith came back to her house, but she didn't notice Rudy Gede because he was in the bathroom, who was opposite to her room inside the house. So she didn't notice that, we think. So she went to her room thinking that there wasn't anybody inside the house, but Gede heard the door, so he went to her room because of the light on. And when he encountered Meredith, he tried to take her and to have advantage of her. So after that, everything was going. Everything was going to be really bad.
And he's talking about Rudy Gaudet. We'll talk a little bit more about him. Now, obviously, you guys weren't there. Tell us what you and Amanda were doing while the murder was taking place, and then the next day when she went over to the house.
Well, I was sleeping the next day, so she wanted to go back. Amanda wanted to go back to her home to take some fresh clothes, and take a shower. So after she said that she didn't want to take a shower in my house because there was a curtain, a plastic curtain inside my shower, she didn't like at all. So she said, "Okay, I will go back home." And I just stood by and slept for some hours more. Some hour more. After that, she came back to my house. She was cleaned up and with new clothes, and said that there was something strange in her house because she saw the front door wide open, and there was nobody inside, and Meredith's door was closed, it was locked up, and there were no keys over there. So actually, after we had a very fast breakfast, we went by her house, and just going around the house, I noticed that the Filomena's room was completely turned upside down. All the clothes were everywhere, and the window was broken. That was the only thing I noticed, because Meredith's room was locked up, and I didn't know what to think, actually.
You had some bad luck in the night before in terms of getting an alibi. You had turned your cell phones off, right? And your father usually called at a certain time. So it was kind of hard to...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Actually, I turned my cell phone off, but at the same time, my father called me during the night. He called me at around 8:30 during the night. So it was much before what I said to the police when they were questioning me. But of course, I can never had a kind of misinterpretation of time. So it was a kind of a little mistake in all of this. And I said to the police that he called me at 10:30, 11, but I really didn't remember exactly the time. My father calls me every day, so it's pretty easy to forget exactly the moment he called me by. So actually, my cell phone didn't take easily connection inside my house because I have where I was in Perugia, I had very big walls, big stone walls. So especially in my room, there was a fading connection all the time.
And so it looks like it might have been a simple break-in. I guess he knew the rent money might be in the room that he trashed. And he had a history of these kind of break-ins?
Yeah, he had a long history about it because he was adopted by a very rich family in Perugia, but because he was left by his mother, and after the father brought him in Italy, the father left him as well. So he was adopted. But he didn't like the environment, so instead of doing basketball and having an education and go to school, he wanted to be around like alone. I mean, and he started to tease and. An accused, he was convicted for about getting inside a lawyer studio and take computers and cell phones inside that studio, and also inside an apartment. He used the same kind of the same behavior he did at the Meredith-Kercher house in Via della Pergola. So it was a window at a certain height, broken by a stone. He got in. He have taken everything as his house, like he turned on the heaters. He took some juice from the fridge. He took all the devices and cash money. He found inside the apartment or inside the lawyer studio. So his behavior was always the same, and he has been convicted for this kind of thieves, even in Milan.
And we should say that Rudy Getty fled to Germany while you and Amanda actually called the police. So we're talking with Raffaele Sollecito. He was falsely charged with Amanda Knox in a murder in Italy. And kind of a stunning fact to me was, first of all, there was no evidence tying to you. We'll go into more detail later. But they came up with a far-fetched narrative out of the blue, I guess, that this was a satanic sexual orgy that ended up in her death. It was a Halloween time frame. What are your thoughts on pulling this out of the air?
Yeah, it is very nonsense, actually, because Amanda and me were completely. So we never had anything to do with satanic rituals or orgies or anything like that. It was so ridiculous. It was just a made-up story by the prosecution, because they were the prosecutor, Giuliano Mignini, it was investigating inside the Mostra of Florence case as well years ago. So he was kind of attracted by this kind of stories, I think.
In our final minute in this segment, to me, the only way that it could have been plausible that you committed the murder was if you guys were on some sort of drugs or whatever. Now, there's a lot about how much pot you guys smoked or whatever. Talk about what the reality was in terms of drugs.
No, we just smoked sometimes the pot in my house, but it was just one or two inside days or weeks. So it was just that and nothing more. I'm not used to drink anyway, so all the story was completely ridiculous. I've never taken anything so dangerous. I mean.
We're listening to Forensic Talk with Jim Campbell. We are going to next look into Justice Italian style, coming right up. This is Jim Campbell, host of Forensic Talk. Tune into this station on Monday evenings at 6 p.m. for deep dives into the biggest crime stories today. Unsolved murders, financial crimes, penetrating questions.
I'm John Iannuzzi, producer of Forensic Talk with Jim Campbell. Each week, you'll hear in-depth interviews, whether it's Bobby Kennedy Jr. on his claims his cousin Michael Skakel is innocent of the Moxley murder, or a brutally honest conversation with Kathleen Willey, one of the women alleging sexual assault in the Clinton Oval Office, or the first interview after prison with an insider trader from the Raj Rajaratnam biggest insider trading scandal in Wall Street history.
That's Monday night at 6 p.m. We'll bring you the facts, the forensic, both sides of the story, from insider trading to crimes of passion.
Forensic Talk with Jim Campbell is brought to you by Park City Productions. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Instagram. That's Park City Productions 06604.
And we're back Raffaele Sollecito. His book is Honor Bound, My Journey to Hell and Back with Amanda Knox. And I want to start off, so you guys are arrested the next day, or you start getting questioned, I should say. You do say that you thought you guys made some mistakes up front, and it looked very strange to the world that you guys were kissing outside the house and that Amanda was doing yoga and cartwheels in the police office. What are some of the mistakes you think you guys made?
Well, we were very... we just had a lot of trust to the prosecution and to detectives. Mm-hmm. We didn't know what was going on there, so it was pretty hard actually, and we just made the mistake to trust the people we had to don't trust, but actually they are the police, they are the state. Why should you just have doubts on them? It's pretty hard. We were 20 years old, so it's kind of a crazy thing.
And then there's the false confession of Amanda. They basically coerced out of her, right?
Well, yes, they did, and they were. And Amanda had her rights during other trials that went by after all this ordeal. So yeah, she got pressure. All her and my rights were completely turned. They were completely turned and violated. So actually, they made a lot of mistakes during this investigation.
Why did you think that Amanda's roommates seemed to turn against her?
I think because they had something to do with the marijuana plants that were in the house under where Meredith was living. They were living all together, so they wanted to please the police department because they got to be a lawyer now. So they were lawyers.
Now you're thrown into solitary confinement in prison, actually held for a year during the investigation before you'd even been officially charged. What was it like to be in solitary confinement?
Well, it was very, very hard. It was a kind of a thing that really, it was really tragic to me, and it was hard to face it. So, for me, there was no space for love, hope, or anything. It was just me and that walls and my thoughts that were destroying me day by day. I had even perception of reality problems after months. So it was pretty hard for me to face it, and I just had the after months. I just had the idea to make to just put in my signature and go back to have relationships with other prisoners.
And how much support, or how important was the support from your family?
Yeah, it was very, very important, the support from my family, because they stood by me all the time. They were coming by to see me every week. So it was really, really a nice thing. For me, it was very, really important every week to have them close by me and getting me just a sense of that I'm not alone.
And we should say that once they moved you out of solitary confinement, they put you with pedophiles, rapists, not a very good environment either. Did you ever think of giving up? Did you ever have thoughts of suicide?
No, I never thought about suicide. I just thrown away all my desires for life, and I said that I just want the truth to come out, and my life goes after that. So I was living actually only to get the truth out of this crazy ordeal.
All right, we'll look at Justice Italian style a little bit now because it's a lot different than we have over here in America. First off, the prosecutor, Giuliano Mignini, was under investigation at the time and had these visions of satanic cults from killings in Florence.
Yeah, he was under investigation because he made a power abuse on a different case, which is the pharmacist Narducci case, linked to the Monster of Florence case. So he made a lot of mistakes and pressure to people who are innocent, and he was investigated and he was convicted at the first trial for that case. So, but at the same time, he was taking the prosecution against us during the appeal in Perugia.
So, apparently in Italy, prosecutors and judges are not independent of each other, and there's no real jury, right? The judges themselves make the decision?
Yeah, the judges themselves make decisions. The jury they don't understand what's going on there, so they accept and they take advices by the jurors. So it's a system with a lot of flaws, actually.
Now, the prosecution tried to put on some evidence that there was DNA linking you to the murder. First off, the shoes, you had a pair of Nikes, even though they weren't the same size, but they found that. Plus, they found DNA on a bra, the clasp on a bra that had your DNA on it. What are your comments on sort of these false DNA findings?
They completely made up because they haven't taken everything as an evidence or clue against me in this case. So they left it there with no sense for more than 46 days. And then they found the bra clasp in another place in the room, completely rugged, completely with a different color, with different shape, because it was a band during that time. So they, in an unbelievable way, they just took a picture of it at first when they came inside the murder scene, and they left it over there for 46 days after they got by again over there to take it with completely nonsense. Actually, they asked to get inside the murder scene again because they wanted to take a picture of a footprint which wasn't there anymore. So they made a really mess of things.
And of course, they said you were in the room with them. But had you ever met Rudy Guede?
No, never in my life.
So I never even met him. And I guess Amanda met him once or twice because he was downstairs with the boys' apartments a couple times. And they took a knife out of your apartment up the street, and it was sort of randomly picked, and it suddenly had DNA on it of Meredith?
A knife? No. The knife in my apartment They have taken the first knife inside the kitchen drawer, and they put it inside how do you call that, document bag, without any without following any protocol and any sense. They contaminated everything.
Yeah.
And after some week, they said that there was Meredith's DNA on the blade and Amanda's DNA on on the handle. But of course, Amanda's DNA was real. The other one, the Meredith's DNA, was completely made up because the machine was completely forced to get any result from that point of the blade.
And there was apparently the DNA numbers were way too low to have any validity. And now at the same time that they the prosecution wiretapped your entire family, right, during this period?
Yes, they did. They wiretapped my family for a year. They made 46,000 calls taped for my family, and they it turned out nothing from it. There was nothing in there because the accusers for this taping were ridiculous as well. They said that my family was acting, and they were taking actions to prove that I'm innocent. That is a really ridiculous accuse. It doesn't even exist inside our laws.
What was it like for you in the courtroom when the verdict from the first trial comes down that you're guilty?
It was very hard, actually, because I haven't any hope anymore, and for me it was really hard and impossible.
You and Amanda are sentenced. Well, she's sentenced to 26 years, I think, and you're sentenced to 25 years. Meanwhile, Rudy, whose prints and DNA is all over the scene, had his sentence reduced from 30 years to 16 years. How's that?
Well, it was because Rudy asked for a very fast trial without discussing the clues and the evidence against him. We wanted to discuss everything, and we went through all of this for years. I don't even think that he have taken a low penalty, because the prison here is another big issue in Italy. But on the same time, we had a very different treatment, even if we are innocent. It is not, actually.
How do you think you actually won the appeal, or what changed everything?
They wanted to go more into the details about the evidence and the broadcast and the knife. The court asked for independent DNA professionals to analyze what the police did, and they came out with a document that showed that the police department made more than 53 mistakes on every step of evidence analysis inside this case. So they just dropped everything, and we were acquitted.
All of us saw on TV the pictures of all the frenzy, you guys being led out of the court the first time, when you've been declared guilty, being sent back to prison. What did it feel like with that media frenzy all around you?
it was pretty hard and incredible. Actually, I didn't bother. It was really annoying, and I didn't bother it. So it's something that was against us all the time, and they never wanted to listen to anything. So for me, it was hard, and I didn't know how to get against it, because you with just a television news, you can change the mind of millions of people. I know just by myself a few hundred of peoples, and that was a big problem.
Tell us, during this 4-year period, what's your relationship with Amanda Knox, and how much contact did you have?
We exchanged just a few letters and mails, and that's all. That's really all. We just stood by one another for the brutality of things, but it wasn't very. I mean, it wasn't a real relationship.
Yeah, you had almost no contact, but you both remained very loyal to each other in terms of the truth and everything. You didn't. I think at one point I read in your book that they would have cleared you and not even put you in the trial if you had just said anything to make it look like she was guilty.
Yeah, but I will never do anything like that for an innocent person. It's completely against my ethic and the person I am. So it will be horrible to just do anything like that for any human being.
You're listening to Forensic Talk with Jim Campbell from our flagship stations, Yale Radio, WYBC, and WGCH Greenwich. And we're just going to finish up with a few more questions here. Looking back, first of all, Raffaele, you get out, and you said earlier you were depressed. How did you recover? How did you feel at the end of the thing? How was your health, your mental health, and how did you move forward?
Well, I'm just putting all my energies in my job. I'm a software engineer, and I have my company, and nothing I'm taking surrounded by the people I really love. That's all. That's all I'm doing.
Are you dating anybody now?
Well, it's my private life. I prefer to not talk about it.
Oh, you have a private life now, Raffaele. I guess that's kind of fair. Tell me about your sister worked for the police. I don't know if in Rome or whatever, but she ended up being fired from her job basically over you. How's she doing now?
She is still without the job, and she is struggling for life as well. So it's not an easy life for us. Wow.
Are you safe and free and clear now in Italy? There's no charges. There's no more trials left. They haven't reversed anything. So you're safe.
The prosecutor Giuliano Mignini put me on a trial for a book that I wrote in the United States, because he said that it's very outrageous against the police and the prosecution office. So they charged me for having said bad things against them. And actually, I didn't. And of course, it's another stuff that proves the kind of personality and behavior of these people who have taken the case of Perugia as a personal vindication of something that I don't understand.
Mm-hmm. If Amanda Knox went back to Italy, would she be arrested?
No, I don't think so.
No, you don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
How would you say this whole experience changed you?
This experience made me more I look at things in a different way. I'm stronger, of course, but on the other side, I'm more fragile. And on the other, there's things in life that I'm completely disillusioned. I'm trying to make my dreams be shining again from something that was brutally destroyed when I came by this case.
That was well said. Do you feel that your and Amanda's youth were stolen from you?
Yeah, I feel so. I feel this way, actually.
Now, you went to Seattle at some point fairly soon after you were both freed. How did you and Amanda get along? How did you find her changed?
She was pretty more mature, and I just saw her for a few days, so it wasn't a big. I stayed in the United States for a long time, but I met very different people. Amanda, I just stayed with Amanda for a few days.
Mm-hmm. Tell us what.
I just noticed that she was more mature, but I don't know the details.
And you got along very well with her family, right?
Yeah. I heard I'm in contact with her family always.
How's your dad doing after all this?
My dad is okay. He's facing his troubles, and as I told you, it's not very easy life for us.
Can you just one more thing before you go? Tell us what you're doing now. Tell us about your company.
Well, I have a software engineer company, and we made two projects actually. One is to commemorate people who are very far from you. Mm-hmm. We send flowers to the tombstones through a website. It's beyondmemories.com. You can open up. You can create a memory of your dear, and selecting the cemetery, you can send a photo or a flower or any kind of a candle or any kind of a memorial, a memorial gift you want to send. And the other project is about booking anything from pictures. We made a software which is a management software for little companies like tourist companies, which is installed inside a website or an app. And their clients, they can book anything, any service they have in their facilities, from the pictures of their facilities of themselves, and pay directly with PayPal or credit card, debit cards. With just booking everything before they even arrive to the facility, and organize the vacation before.
Well, it sounds very creative. Well, it was great to see, obviously, justice win out after such a long period for someone with such honor and integrity. We've been talking with Raffaele Sollecito. The book is, again, Honor Bound, My Journey to Hell and Back with Amanda Knox. This has been Forensic Talk with Jim Campbell. Thanks to Raffaele. Thanks to our audience for listening. We'll see everybody next Monday on Forensic Talk with Jim Campbell.
Bye-bye.